Okay, so you know how like Chris Nolan always likes to say that his Batman is gritty? This was gritty. It's gritty in that, to me, that's what gritty is, when you can see the reality of it. Chris Nolan's gritty is more of trying to paint a picture of grittiness, where this, to me, has gritty because it's humanity, it's life. Whether you're fans of our patron saint or you have no idea what we're talking about, welcome to another episode of Cozy Quilt Cinema. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Beth. We are currently cooking a Thanksgiving dinner with nothing but a broken oven and sheer determination. Every week, Michelle and I, we curl up on the couch, we watch a movie, and then we carry it into the studio and break it down like Julie Powell deboning a duck. It's not a critical review, though we probably will be critical. Can a burnt casserole and borrowed kitchen actually save a family? Is this a holiday movie or a survival story? Wrap yourself in your tutu's Kappa Kuiki, climb into the blanket fort, and hit play. Life, finds a way. That's right.
You had to do the in there.
I did. How else are you going to do it?
I know. And here, side note, our DM does a really good Jeff Goldblum.
It's true.
And one of our favorite characters.
And he doesn't know he does a really good one.
Yeah. I mean, now he knows.
But he tries too hard.
Now he's trying too hard. But in the beginning, he had no idea. And we were just like, oh my God, is he doing Jeff Goldblum? He's doing a really good Jeff Goldblum.
He doesn't know he's doing it. That's like the best.
I know. Yeah, I do adore that character, though, even if he isn't too manic for me.
So
we're talking about Pieces of April, 2003, directed by Peter Hedges.
Yeah, this is an indie film that Peter did. He wrote it, he directed it, and that's what we got. He did What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Mm-hmm. He wrote that book.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know was a book.
He did About a Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Also good. One of the few Hugh Grants that I'm like, really like, it makes me sad and happy.
Yeah.
It's just very emotional.
Apparently he's good at that.
Yeah, weird.
Because Gilbert Grape, oh my Lord. If you didn't know that was Leonardo DiCaprio, you would think it was definitely cast as somebody with special needs.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody who at that time had no idea. I can't rewatch it anymore because it's too much. But maybe someday for the podcast I will.
I get that. So how did you feel? Well, you've never seen this film before.
I've never seen this film before. I've heard of it, but like in passing.
Right.
It was definitely, you got to see Pieces of April. And when they would tell me that it's about a dysfunctional family, I was just always like, I'd really live that. I don't really want to,
Well, for me, I saw it in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this screening of it. My best friend worked as a manager for a cinema, and I got to watch the screening. And this is an indie film. They did it for like $300,000, and it was on digital camcorders around the city. And you really get that feel. You get the texture.
Oh, definitely.
Of I don't want to say of New York City. You get the texture of life.
Yeah.
You really feel like you're part of it, or at least you're experiencing it, not just seeing a set.
Yeah, in early 2000s, no less, which even though it's early 2000s, it does feel a lot like the 90s too.
Sure. But in 2003, I was living in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a little crappy apartment on Summer Avenue behind a gun store.
Wow.
And I mean, if the equivalent of her apartment is basically where we lived. It's the small city version, the southern small city version of the New York City apartment she's in now.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, I felt the desperation of, denial. The idea that, you're just not good enough.
Yeah.
To be part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a perpetuated thing. You perpetuate it by feeling that way, and they perpetuate it, and so forth and so forth. And it never truly stops. And for me, it came at a time where, yeah.
Trust me, I'm going to have a hard time with this one.
Well, because Beth always has to cry during a podcast for some reason.
I think we both have different things that this movie touches on. I know for you, it's the mom and the mom having the cancer diagnosis because that's what you had to deal with.
Yeah.
And for me, it's that not being good enough. And I was not the one who was the troublemaker in the family. That was my sister. And so I see that in her, where I can see my sister in the way her April's her disregard towards how they feel, almost like when they're talking about her childhood and the way she was, and the way they talked about her, and in very negative tones, reminds me of how a lot of my family felt about my sister, because my sister had a lot of issues that were very undiagnosed when she was younger. And I was always, trying to defend when she was little. But also, I felt with April, the way she was going out of her way and killing herself and giving herself anxiety to try to make them happy on Thanksgiving, going above and beyond her comfort levels. You see me when we have holidays, when we used to have everybody here, how crazy I go.
Yeah.
And our house is not shitty, and it's not, I don't have to impress them, but I would go out of my way. I don't anymore. So, hey, for me, healing. But I don't see, I don't know. It's very hard because there's so many different angles with this movie that really, if you noticed, I couldn't pay attention to it 100% on purpose. Once I started realizing where this was going, I tuned out.
Well, imagine seeing this in 2003. I mean, this is like right after my mother's cancer diagnosis for level 4 lung cancer. And the entire movie is one singular punch in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Of just, I mean, I can sum up the entire movie in one sentence. And I thought of it just thinking about this film.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you can mourn loss before it happens.
Oh, yes.
And that's what this is. And it's not just April mourning loss. It's everybody in the film, everybody in that family is mourning loss.
Oh, yeah, in their own way.
Well, April, who is Katie Holmes, is playing April. And, she's Dawson Creek.
Yeah,
that's where
Joey.
you know her from. Well, yeah, she's not Dawson, but she's in, Dawson's Creek, and she's a kid, but this is a different side of Katie that you get to see. This unput together, child who is not a child anymore, but she's the first pancake, and if that doesn't punch you in the throat, I don't know what will. She's the pancake you throw away.
Yep.
She's the test pancake. And I know what that's like. Because while my mother loved me, and I know she supported me all the time, she was really the only one in the family that did. Everybody else, it was with caveats.
Yeah.
And I was the first pancake. And I was essentially dismissed because I did not live up to the ideals of the second pancake.
Well, and I can relate to that as well, because I too am the first pancake. that was actually created from the first pancake. Again, I can't say Nana was the first pancake because honestly, Nana, my great-grandmother adored both her daughters. And I don't know if there was some favoritism because I think she always felt bad for my great aunt because my great aunt was very sickly as a child, but so was my grandmother. She had, my mom and my grandmother never got along.
Yeah.
And my mom and I can't say we got along. Like, my mom and I are a lot alike in certain things. But the more I realize it, and this is something I have always said my entire life, is my mother was never young. She was always too young to have had me. No matter what age she is always still too young to have a child my age. And so she never knows how to deal with me.
So let me just summarize the movie real quick. So for those that don't know, because you've probably never seen this film before, if you haven't, you probably should. Set entirely in a single Thanksgiving day in New York City as Pieces of April, follows April Burns, who is a black sheep daughter. She's the one who left, the one that nobody wanted to sit next to at dinner, and she's living in a tiny apartment in Lower Manhattan with her boyfriend, Bobby. And for reasons she doesn't even really understand, she wants to cook Thanksgiving dinner for her estranged family, primarily her mother. The problem is her oven is broken, which she finds out belatedly because she doesn't cook. So she does what any desperate, chaotic 20-something would do. She goes door to door through her apartment building, asking neighbors she's never spoken to because she's new to the building if she can use her kitchens. And we go through a series of accidental connections with strangers, and they all kind of reveal something different to April about herself. And they reveal something about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's about learning people, learning what people are made of it and how they react to things. But meanwhile, April's mother, Joy, who is dying of breast cancer, has never quite found a way to love April. And she's already in the wagon, all right? She's in the family station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And April's father, Jim, her sister, Beth, her brother, Timmy, and Grandma Dottie are driving from suburban Pennsylvania into the city that they'd rather not go to eat a meal they're not sure will be edible, cooked by a daughter they're not sure they know how to forgive. And both journeys, April's and Joy and the family, unfold in real time. And they cut back and forth like a really slow collision, like a train wreck that is just coming down the line that you see way before it happens. And you're expecting all the dread and hope, and you don't know how to feel about it until it happens. That is what this movie is. It's a slow wreck, and sometimes wrecks are good.
Yeah. I think the parts that really got me were their jibes about the food and about, what they were going to be walking into. Because I have been guilty of being... My parents are the snarkiest people. They snark at each other. They snark at everybody. You have been witness to them bitching at each other. And whether they're playing or they're serious, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. But...
Well, what I've noticed is that your parents, as I've known them, and we've been together, 14 years?
Really a long time, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like together
Yeah.
for 14 years. Your parents have gotten worse as they go because the jibes stopped being funny.
Oh, yeah.
And they just started being hurtful. And now they don't know how to be anything but hurtful.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is where we find Joy Burns, who is the mother, is Patricia Clarkson, who was pretty much
Tammy One in Parks and Rec.
right, and she was in The Station Agent. which is an excellent film, by the way. But she's just in pain. But before that has been a lifetime of jibes at her children because she never committed to April as a mother. And she knows it.
Oh, yeah. When she was thinking about how she couldn't think of a good memory, and the memory she could think of, she thought were April, were not. It was Beth's. So
who is Allison
Pill,
who is a wonderful human being. And I just want to step aside on the emotional part here just to point out a really funny fact that if you look at Beth and the brother Timmy.
That was one of my clues. I know what you're going with this because that was my clue last week.
Yeah. John Gallagher and Allison Pill were in the newsroom together. Love interests. Instead of now siblings.
They're siblings. I know.
So they learned to love each other a little bit too much. Well, we had that same joke. Had it right there in the back pocket.
Oh, yeah. Ready and waiting. Got to have some levity. This one's a dark one, guys. I mean, not really. It's not, because it's got hope.
It's not dark. I think it's
just so dour and
it's so
sad.
real.
And it's just, yeah, that's it. It's so real. And so, honestly, though, I think... Okay, so you know how, like, Chris Nolan always likes to say that his Batman is gritty?
Yeah.
But really, it's just dirty.
Dirty? Yeah.
This was gritty.
Yeah, it's gritty in the way that you feel like if you stepped outside the door, you would encounter it.
Yes. It's gritty in the... To me, that's what gritty is, when you can see the reality of it. Not it's gritty is not a visual. It's not contextual. Well, it is contextual. It's not visual. It's like Chris Nolan's gritty is more of trying to paint a picture of grittiness, where this, to me, has gritty because it's humanity. It's life. You know, Bobby takes his little scooter thingy, and he goes all the way to the other side of town so he could get a suit. But meanwhile, you don't know what he's doing. He's sitting at a payphone waiting for this guy to call, and you're thinking he's a drug dealer like the ex-boyfriend was. Because that's what Dad had said, was that the ex-boyfriend was a drug dealer.
Right.
So you're thinking, shit, Bobby, please don't be a drug dealer. And because, again, he's hanging out at a payphone. It is early 2000s. I don't know why he didn't have a beeper, but whatever, because I was thinking, you know.
Well,
but he's not.
We're looking at, they're poor.
Yeah, they are very poor. And they're living in this, you know, tiny little apartment. And, oh, my God, that sink made me want to vomit. And that sink was gross.
No, I get that.
You know, so you don't know what to expect with him. And it turns out he's just trying to make her day so perfect. He went out and he got the little turkey salt and pepper shakers, which we do not have because we have a salt and pepper shaker collection. True. And now we need a turkey set.
Which makes us sound very middle class, but we are not.
We aren't. We literally went to not a consignment shop, kind of a consignment antique shop. And we kind of went nuts a couple different times and bought just a bunch of salt and pepper shakers because we decided that day, let's be salt and pepper shaker collectors.
My grandmother,
yeah,
who, when I grew up in her house, she was the person who watched me every weekend because my parents had better things to do.
Yeah, well,
and
that one too.
When she passed away, she had a large salt and pepper shaker collection, and when she passed away, I think they just got thrown away.
Yeah, I didn't see them when we went to her house. Was that the one? Oh, no. I'm sorry. Other grandmother. Oh, okay.
And most of her stuff was just thrown away.
Oh, that's sad.
I don't think anything was really kept because the fight was over the property, the house.
Yeah.
And it was promptly sold.
Yeah.
And so I never got closure on any of that. And I was there when she died. I was the only one there when she died. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it was a source of trauma and everything else. And then for me, the salt and pepper shakers, those are kind of a way to connect with her again, to kind of feel like, you know, we're part of the continuance.
Oh, yeah.
Because I loved my grandmother, my mama. And I want our grandkids, if we have them,
Yeah.
to be a part of that, to remember the collection.
Well, I was actually going to say we needed to leave something for our children to fight over.
Yeah, true enough. I would hope they would fight over it and keep it and not just throw it away.
And the ones we like are like little, like, I don't know. We have a certain theme about the ones we get. We don't want them to have names on them. Like we don't like welcome to, Perth Amboy. We don't want
welcome to Florida or Miami,
and we don't want it to be like
crazy.
Yeah, we want them to be like what do we have? We have like a pie, and it's the one was two little pies, and then we have the one we didn't get was the little black hat with the cauldron, which I kind of wish we had gotten that one because we didn't know we were going to end up with a little black cat in our house. There she is behind me sleeping. But when my grandfather died, the same thing happened. He had three things in this world that I would have loved to have had. Definitely two. One of them I would have been more willing to, and I obviously did, was he had a Groucho Marx statue that was his, because Groucho Marx was my grandfather's favorite thing in the world. He had my saddle for my very first pony, my only pony, and I barely remember it, but he still had that saddle. And he had a box of...
Did the pony fall off a truck?
No, it actually came with a house they were renting.
Sorry, you always talk about...
Things used to fall off trucks for him all the time. But no, the pony was actually my Nana's deal. But he had the saddle for it. But he had a box that he would take out because he lived up in New York most of the time. And then he would come down to New Jersey. And he would take out this box and it had money in it. And it was like Confederate money and stuff like that. And we would look at it together, and he always said it was going to be mine. But when he passed away, my uncle got all of that because he was there. And so, yeah.
But see, now April doesn't have any of that.
Nope.
There are no mementos for her. It is her and Bobby in a little bitty apartment, and it is in pretty bad condition.
Yeah.
I'd say even worse than the apartment I had on Summer Avenue, and some of those apartments were missing doors. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of this movie, it's not sad. It's just, it evokes a different time period in my life.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's
even the way they assemble the turkey, the almost disregard by which they stuff it, and they put a whole onion in there. They put entire stalks of celery in and just cut it at the opening. Now, I've never been that lackadaisical in the kitchen. I've always been very I need to have it a certain way, and it needs to be done properly, no matter how poor I was. I needed to cut the celery correctly, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she didn't care about any of that, and that wasn't her thing, and that's fine. It actually means more that she never stepped foot in a kitchen, that she wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Than someone doing the thing all the time and then just preparing a meal. She was outside of her comfort zone and trying to put forth a turkey leg for peace. It's the olive branch. The
olive branch, turkey leg.
And, this is that thing where you know what's coming, but you don't know how it's going to be received. I
had no idea how it was going to go, because part of me was like, well, they can't just show up and have it be happy families, but they also can't just not show up. So I did not expect how this was going to go. And, I don't know. Again, there was so much about this that I was like...
Well, the movie itself, the whole movie, I mean, I summed it up already, but, you're facing mortality. And not just her facing her own mortality. Everyone else gets to face it with her in a different way.
Yeah.
And it's not just the idea of an end, but, it's the change that you didn't get a choice in. You have no choice in this. Jim, the dad, who is Oliver Platt, who was in Bulworth and The Bear, and, he was in West Wing and Lake Placid and all that. He didn't get a choice in any of this either, but he is stalwart the entire time.
Yeah.
He is there. He may not fully understand everything, and he doesn't know how to fix anything, he knows he can't. So he's just there. He's just trying to be there. And he doesn't get mad even when she takes off. He just wants to make sure she doesn't miss her chance. Joy doesn't miss her chance of connecting with her daughter. Because even if she's gone, April has to continue living with that.
Oh, yes.
So in a way, even though they're estranged, Jim is protecting his daughter.
Oh, yeah. I feel like she's kind of Joy. I mean, not April, but I feel like Joy she's tired. She's tired of the constant doting and the constant, you can tell that when Beth is talking to her that she is just like, fucking shut the hell up, because Beth, I mean, obviously the children, her other children are worried. They are worried, but they're also dealing with it in their own ways. Beth takes me as a mother hen. And so every 2 minutes she's like, Mom, are you okay? If you don't feel good, you can just say it and we'll just, we don't have to do this. If you don't feel right, you say it right now. Now, mostly it's because she doesn't want to go.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely 1 part self-serving and 2 parts concern.
Yeah. But it's just
going with the recipe theme.
Yeah, but you could tell she is definitely over this child constantly, because Beth is very saccharine.
Yeah.
And honestly, I get a kick out of her little, her barbs, and out of things that she says, because you can tell they're not used to having those things said at them. I think they're always used to Mom having her little jibes at April. So when she's like, no, don't sing, like when she's singing and she's telling her not to sing, and the little things that she does say to them, they're not used to it. They get kind of like side.
I mean, it's a hard hit when she tells Beth, when Beth says any requests for her singing, because she was singing a song and then she stopped and everybody thought it was great. And then she said any requests and she's feeling good about herself. Joy hits her, and it felt very much like Dead Like Me. The relationship between the mom and the daughter.
Yeah.
Is that there's no emotional shock absorber.
No.
It is just, you're going to feel every bump. And this is that thing of Joy hitting her with disapproval, not because she actually dislikes Beth, but because she's tired and she feels the weight of the loss she's already feeling now of her life. Her life feels like a loss because she hasn't reconciled with herself yet. She knows it's coming, but it's that train and there's no way to look away from it. It's your train. And Beth singing is like the least important thing to you.
Oh, yeah.
But it's important. It should be important. And she realizes that after she said it. But she's too tired to argue.
Yeah. And it's funny. You made this comment last week, not on the podcast, but after the fact when you were editing, how, I said something 3 different ways and I never got the quote right.
Oh, yeah.
But I do that a lot. I know I never get quotes right unless they're written in front of me. But I'm sitting here thinking of all the times shit like that has been said to me, and I cannot think of verbatim. So it comes off as, well, then it probably didn't happen. I think I've just mentally blocked out the things that people have said to me. So now I really cannot quote shit. I literally don't know how to quote anything unless it's written down or it's immediate. And even if it's immediate, I'll still screw it up. And I think that's like a trauma thing for me. Because because I know my mom has done the same thing to me when it comes to like I hate to say it like, the same thing, but I always walked around the house singing. How I like to sing.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I used to go to karaoke, and a cousin of mine had come. He lived nearby, and it was going to it was a bar / and he was going to get beer for him and his wife, and I didn't know he was there, And it wasn't until after I sang and I got, I'm back with my friends, he comes around the corner and I'm like, holy shit, he's here. And he's like, dude, I didn't know you could sing. And I'm like, why, thank you. Well, apparently he because he still at the time he was working with my uncle. And my uncle even said to me, so-and-so said that you sang really well at the bar. And I was like, oh, thank you. I had no idea that, he told you this. And my mom was there and she's like, so it wasn't just caterwauling or something along those lines of like, just, you just screaming. And so were you drinking or, like something like that. It was like cutting. I can't remember exactly what she said, but I felt so stupid. I was like, well, you know what? It wasn't that important. It was just, a bunch of drunks. What do they know?
Yeah.
I had to come up with some excuse as to why.
You have to preserve your feelings, and in doing so, you're accepting her feelings as the fact.
But she never heard me, even to this day, ever. She's never seen me on stage. She's never heard me actually sing. When I play around singing all the time, but she's never heard me seriously sing. Even when I was in school, the 1 or 2 concerts that she ever went to, I was in the chorus. So you didn't, my voice was gone. But she's never heard me do a solo, and I've done a lot since then. So yeah, it's just like, I get that, and I'm taking it very personal, but I could I could feel the pain in each individual in that. Like, just again, it's the cutting remarks of never being good enough.
Right, but our patron saint, Alice.
Patron Saint Alice Drummond.
Who is the grandmother in this,
and
who has...
Very few lines.
Probably Alzheimer's. They don't really say.
Yeah, they just say some. I'm assuming it's some form of dementia. That Beth reintroduces themselves like I'm your granddaughter Beth, and this is Timmy, your grandson.
And she does lose who people are at times, but then she's semi-lucid throughout it.
Yeah.
But when Joy makes that remark, and then Alice, I forget what her name is in this other than Grandma, but. She looks
Dottie, I think.
Yeah, Dottie. She looks at Joy and she says, I don't know who you are. And she goes, you know who I am. I'm your daughter.
Yeah, let's not start this
and
again.
She's like, no, I know who you are. I'm saying you are not my daughter.
Yeah.
Because my daughter was sweet and kind and wasn't mean like this.
Mm-hmm.
And would never treat her children like this. And you get the sense that it's not just time wearing on a person because, well, Dottie isn't an unkind person.
No, but I think when you've hit, neither was your mom, but you could tell there are moments with your mom that she had no more fucks to give. And I think that's where Joy is.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that. I don't think Joy just had no fucks to give. I think she never dealt with being angry about it.
Oh, no.
Mom, she dwelled. Believe me, she was not happy about...
She'd forgive you, but she wouldn't forget.
No.
She may not forgive you.
I'm saying she wasn't happy about the cancer.
Oh, no, I know.
But she fought through that cancer. She didn't accept the cancer as a win. She accepted only her win.
Mm-hmm.
So it was never the cancer... The train wasn't the cancer. The train was my mom through cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And she fought it for 15 years or so.
Oh, God, yeah.
When they said she was only going to live a year, she lived 15 more years.
A couple remissions and everything, yeah.
Right. She kept winning because she kept fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute she couldn't fight anymore, she had to put her sword down, is the way I put it. She had to stop. She was just too tired to keep fighting because she'd fought so long.
Yeah.
And she needed to rest. And that's when the cancer got to win.
Mm-hmm.
Not when it won. She let it win because that was inevitable. That she couldn't just keep doing it forever.
Oh, yeah.
But she was unkind many times. But my mom was never unkind because... she was bitter about the cancer. She was unkind because my mother had the same processing I have, where you don't always take into account the emotions or feelings of others or even understand that they have them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have fought a good long time to understand that, to dissect it and do it through therapy and everything else to try to understand what I'm missing, because not everything is logic. But I feel that everything should be.
Yeah.
But it's not. So my feelings on it don't matter. But my mother never processed that. So if it didn't make pragmatic sense, it was foolish.
Yes. No, she was very pragmatic.
Yeah. I'd say salt of the earth, but that's really reserved for like racist, and my mother wasn't.
No, and here's the thing. I don't know if I could stay that way if I was going through that, because I could see myself just being done with everybody's bullshit. Because I think there comes a clarity when you are that, like, I think that Joy had already gone through her, the different stages of mourning for herself.
Yeah.
And I think she was at acceptance. But sometimes even when at acceptance, you're just over everybody else because they're still going through the steps that you've already gone through, and you just don't want to relive those steps.
Well, it's like they're holding on to one level and they never moved on. They hit like level 2 of grief and they never moved past it. But she's already gone through all the steps, and she's becoming bitter at everyone else because they haven't moved through
They're
those
not
other
where
steps.
she is, yeah.
Right.
And so she can have, the gallows humor about it, and they're all, they can be appalled by it. And, meanwhile, she's showing pictures of, her mastectomy surgery, and she's like, look I love this, and this is lovely. And her mother is like, I prefer Beth singing, and...
Well, and this is all a journey film.
Oh,
so
definitely.
throughout April's journey, it flips back and forth. So you see April haphazardly making Thanksgiving dinner, and then you see her desperately as Bobby, who is played by Derek Luke, who was in Antoine Fisher.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen him in anything else.
He was in Captain America.
Was he in Captain America?
Crap, I didn't write down the character he played. But he was in Captain America and Friday Night Lights.
Well, I never saw Friday Night Lights.
And,
so
but everybody else in the world has, because I have not either. But
okay.
I mean, it took place in Odessa, Texas, and I had no interest because I lived right next door to Odessa.
Sure. But so Bobby has left.
Yes.
He left, and you don't know why. Now it turns out he's going to get a suit because he wants to look nice for her parents, for her family. I think that's so sweet.
He's like, that's why he bought the salt and pepper shaker and the decorations that he wanted to put out. And she was like, no,
they don't deserve
this. But
he said, you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. That's
he cares for her
being a
so
good
much.
boyfriend. Is he's like, this wasn't for them. This was for you. You deserve that.
You know the little play fight they have in the beginning when she doesn't want to get out of bed and he's pulling. That was all improvised. That first scene between the two of them was completely improvised.
And you get the idea.
Throwing her in the shower. It's
adorable because he doesn't want her to give up because he knows she's feeling angsty about it and she doesn't want to do it even though she should.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want her to regret it.
No. And that's...
But he's gone most of the time.
Yeah. And so
she's desperately running around knocking on doors because her oven's cold when she tries to put the turkey in.
Yep.
And she bangs on it. That doesn't work. No. Surprisingly, you can't fix an oven.
Turns out it was unplugged. No.
I mean, the burners work, but the oven doesn't. And I get that. She's desperate because this is going to be yet another letdown for her
Even
mother.
if it had nothing to do with her, because it would not have been her fault.
Sure.
But I understand.
But it'll be another thing that her mother hates her for.
Mm-hmm.
Or she feels her mother hates her for.
Yeah.
And she's running around knocking on these doors. And yes, there are assholes in the building, but there's also some really wonderful people in the building.
Oh, totally.
And I love that they didn't just throw, the one set of people in that's going to fix all her problems.
No, there are multiple families that
there are multiple families that not only help, but are encouraging and sweet and of desperate or disparate avenues of life.
Yeah.
We have the older couple who is well-founded. You know, the black couple.
Yeah, which honestly, you don't know how to take them at first, because when she answers the door and April's like, I need help. I'm in need of help. And she cuts out she's like, you are white, you are young, you've got your whole life ahead of you.
Tell me about
your problems. And you're thinking, oh my God, this poor baby. I mean, like, honestly, this woman is being really fucking mean and bitter about it. And then I'm going, it is New York, and it is, and I understand there's a lot of shit people have to deal with, and you pull up those iron curtains around yourself to protect yourself from all the bullshit you've dealt with. And then it cuts a scene over, and she's crying and dabbing at her eyes with a tissue because April's told her the whole story, of what's going on.
Well, and this is a couple that are very comfortable with each other, and the father, much like in Bob's Burgers, takes a lot of pride in his Thanksgiving meals.
Yep.
I mean, it's a very elegant. They're in a very tiny kitchen. It's the same apartment building.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing such an extravagant Thanksgiving, and by extravagant I don't mean a lot. I mean they're doing
just very
quality, detailed meal plan, and he is very into it.
Oh yeah,
and he keeps showing her, and his wife keeps showing her how to make things better.
Cranberry sauce instead of having it from a can. I like it from a can. He said nobody likes it from a can. I will. We actually have cans of it in my cabinet right now that I will eat on my own because I love cranberry sauce.
Actually,
and I love
I have to say, I've developed a taste for it.
I love that shit. And I mean, I love
which I've always hated it.
I mean, I love real cranberry sauce. Don't get me wrong. But I will also open up a can and eat that stuff straight from it.
But so, she's doing all this running around, but it flips over and you see the other story, which is the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're both journeys. One's more of a journey to finish a meal, and in so doing, finding acceptance.
And found family. Sorry.
That was funny because you yawned.
I know, and I couldn't stop the yawn, but I also needed to get the words out.
I know, it was just funny. And then it flips over to Joy and Jim. Jim, right? Yeah, Jim. Is it Jim? I keep forgetting the dad's name. You know why?
Jim, yeah, it is Jim.
Yeah, you know why? Because Oliver Platt, even though he's a wonderful actor and everything, in this film, he's a placeholder.
He
doesn't really provide a lot.
He's not the Oliver Platt that we know.
But there's a reason for that, because the dad isn't the one dying.
No.
And the dad doesn't have any particular issues.
No.
And let's face it, the mother is the one who was the caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
He was the worker.
Yeah.
And they took on these very strict gender roles. And so what does he have to contribute in the end? Well, we're only going to know in the very end of it, but we don't know. It's left up to you to interpret how this is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
But for Jim, this is just his driving joy to reconcile with their daughter. But he's also not super dedicated to it.
No, because
he wants it to happen, but also he didn't stop them from driving and going to eat, go somewhere to eat.
Yeah.
But on the way there, they have a funeral for a squirrel. And it reminded me of The Office where Creed says they had a funeral for a bird.
Yes.
And Jim says, that never happened. He goes, you never happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they did. They had a funeral for a squirrel that they hit. And it seems silly. And it seems like, well, why would they stop for this? But they're looking for any reason not to go.
Oh, yeah. And they stopped for everything.
Yeah. They're looking for every reason not to go, except they know they have to do this. And Jim knows it has to be done, even though it's not something he really wants to burden. He doesn't want to burden Joy with it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's the main thing. Not that he doesn't want to help April or he doesn't want her in their lives. He doesn't want to burden Joy.
Mm-hmm.
And which, if you take that literally, seems apropos. He doesn't want to burden Joy.
Yep.
But they have this funeral. It's a short funeral, and they say their words, and you get the sense that they're essentially having the funeral for her,
mm-hmm.
with an emotional detachment.
Yeah, because like she's like, okay, does anybody have anything they want to say? And Timmy says something, and then she's like, does anybody else? And Beth was like, oh, I think he said everything that needed to be said. And so she's like, okay, then let's get out of here. What are we doing waiting here? So I think it was her little test. What are they gonna do at my funeral? Almost like maybe not, but it's how it seemed to me.
I mean, you get a sense. It's like when you say to someone, I like you or I love you, and then they dismiss it.
Mm-hmm.
It is that kind of emotional dismissal that angers you.
Oh, yeah.
It angers you because you don't feel the same way they do. You think it should mean more.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, to them, not her funeral. This is just a funeral for a squirrel. It seems silly.
Yeah.
But for her, it's so much deeper because she's encountering it. She's living this. They're tourists. Even though, and I'm the same way, with my mother's, cancer, I didn't live her cancer. I wasn't in the house with her. I didn't live any of that. She got to live every moment of that fight.
Mm-hmm.
I called her on the weekends. I saw her sometimes during the week. And I didn't live that. I was vacationing.
Mm-hmm.
I would come over, say hi, be there an hour or two, and then I was gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any way to get around the fact that you're never going to understand what it's like unless you encounter it, unless you have to live it, and you should not have to.
Oh, no. Yeah.
No one should have to live dying.
No.
So I think death should be a surprise. It should be the final surprise, not the lingering dread that you get to overthink every moment of your life. And that's what Joy has had to do. And it has taken her joy. It has taken her strength and her will. But they keep going. They keep traveling. And I think that when all of this is happening and Bobby is sitting at that phone and you're thinking, and I've seen this before, and I was still thinking, what the fuck are you doing sitting here? You could be helping April right now, who is frantic, trying to find an oven to get this done. You know how important this is to her. You were the one that helped her do it.
Yep.
So why aren't you there? And then to find out he went there to find a suit because he wanted to be seen as worthy of being her partner. He wanted to make a good impression, not just for him, but for April, who feels like she's the black sheep of the family. And she is. They've made no bones about it with her.
Oh, yeah.
So she's not misrepresenting it. It's not just how she feels. It's how the family feels.
And that is a hard thing because you begin to feel the way they expect you to be. So whether she intended to become who she is or not, sometimes when we talk to our children and say certain things to them, it molds them into believing those things after a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go so shallow as to say my weight. I never was heavy when I was younger, but I was told I was big girl. Oh, you're a big girl. Oh, you're curvy. You're a big girl. I took that as being fat. And even in, I graduated high school at 124 pounds. And I thought I was a flippin' blimp at that point because that's just how I was made to feel, that I was not right. And I became fat. Whether that's because of that or because, I like food, it's a little column A and a shit ton of column B, but that's a very light aspect of it. But also that whole, you're probably not going to go to college, your grades, you're just not college bound. And this isn't coming from family. This is coming from, counselors at school and stuff like that. Your grades aren't that great, so you're most likely not going to college and just think about how could you take care of a family? How could you run a household, and maybe you should be taking classes to help you with things like that.
Yeah, the very sexist, gendered crap.
And I didn't go back to college until I was in my late 30s.
And now?
Well, yeah, now I have a master's degree, so, fuck everybody. But at the same time, it took me forever to get that degree because I didn't start it until late, because I could have been done earlier. Hell, I could have had multiple degrees. Now I'm just too lazy to go back to school. I mean, I hate the fact that I've got to be in school right now.
You do have multiple degrees.
I do have multiple degrees, but I mean, I'd have multiple master's degrees.
Sure.
I mean, right now I'm in school because my job is, I have to take a few classes for my current position.
Yeah.
For my licensure. But, it's very, very frustrating to be held to a standard that is usually people, you hear about people getting held to a higher standard and it causes them to fail because it's too high. Well, there are also the people who get held to a low standard. And I think that's the problem with April is she's being held to you can't look, fires or whatever she did as a child. They didn't say, okay, well, maybe there's a reason why she's doing this.
Yeah.
So again, with my sister, my family would always bitch about how, well, she's just spoiled because she's, at the time she was my mother's baby and there's 7 years difference between her and I. And, she's just spoiled because she's the only little one and your mom just never makes her do anything. And I would hear all these things. And then as we got older, she got worse. Until one day it got super, super serious. And then she was drinking and she was doing drugs and she did end up in the hospital. And that was when we finally got the diagnosis that she was bipolar and possibly schizophrenic. So, but all that time when she was younger, and not to say she didn't earn some of the things people said, but they didn't give her the benefit of, again, it's that whole hindsight of knowing what I know now about children and mental health. Because again, I was just as guilty of saying shit about her.
Yeah.
I mean, I say shit about her now, but that's because, I have no care right now. And I don't really think anybody in my family listens to this to give me any grief about it because they know how I feel. But this is an adult decision and not me just mimicking the other adults who did this shit her whole life,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I see that in April. I see April being a product of what people expected of her. And when you're constantly having that at you.
Sure, but also she is 20-something, and no one has their life together at 20-something.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, we're not all Alex P. Keaton.
Half of us haven't even had our brains finish growing. Most of us, they don't really develop completely until you're 25 and above.
But, April she's still trying to figure it out. And yeah, she's falling into some weird relationships, not with Bobby, but with the previous boyfriend who was a drug dealer. And also, I think, pretty fly for a white guy.
He reminded me of Bo from Superstore.
Kind of, but not endearing.
No, because at least Bo is endearing and stupid, but this guy's just stupid.
He's lovable, but, you don't want him over at your house. No, this one's just an ass.
Yeah.
I just, this movie it brings up a lot of emotions. And the bottom line is at the end. Not the end, but before it.
Right before the end.
Where it gets really bad for both of them. Where they're both at both sides of the coin. April is at her lowest point since the film started. And because Bobby's not there, and we have Joy who's traveling and keeps rethinking, does she want to go? And she's frustrated and she's tired, and her wig gets puke on it, and she has to clean it off. And you see that she's had the double mastectomy in the photos that her son took. And there's so many things that are just bringing each point down, each side down to their lowest denominator. And then I had this thought when I was watching it that I think I'd noticed the first time I'd seen it, is it the bitter disappointment that Joy has, or that Joy feels about April, is the same bitterness that April feels at disappointing Joy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, in a way, they're both sharing this bitterness together and don't realize it. That they're both kind of encapsulating that. Now, I think that changes in the end, because in the end, I think we see not a life-changing event. We see a meal.
Mm-hmm. But with both family and found family. And that's me.
Right.
That was because it's a 2003 movie. We're going to spoil it. When they get to April's house, Bobby comes running out because he had just had an encounter with the ex-boyfriend.
And others.
And so he's beaten up, but he's got his suit on, and he's so excited because he sees them pull up, and he's like, you're April's family. Let me go get her. And he runs upstairs, and he tells her, and she's excited, and she's going down the stairs, and the older couple, they come out, they look out, and she's like, your cranberry sauce is ready. And she's like, they're here. And she's so excited. And they're gone.
Well, keep in mind that this is a white suburban family,
mm-hmm.
and a black man runs up, and he's adorable, but he's beaten up,
mm-hmm.
and he's got blood coming out of his mouth, and he's trying to make the bed. And I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
I feel so horrible for him because all he wanted to do was try to impress them.
Yeah.
And he is in such a state when he gets there. He's still kind and thoughtful and trying to be a good boyfriend and trying to be a good host.
Oh, yeah, because she's like, you need first aid. He's like, no, I'm fine. Go, see your family, yeah.
And he's just trying to help her, and she goes down.
And they're gone.
And the car's gone. And it's that stillness it's a stillness that just you can feel
mm-hmm.
when she stands there and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And just every hope has just dropped out of her heart and fallen onto the dirty pavement.
And then she's going up the stairs popping the balloons that she had hung. Because later on, when he's gone, she does decorate. And she doesn't just decorate her apartment, she decorates the hallway. And
right, and she was building up hope.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when she's going back up, she's not even mad. She's just disappointed and bitter. And that's that bitterness that she shares with her mother. It's a trait that they've learned together.
Mm-hmm.
And she is walking up and, like you said, popping the balloons. And that's each one of her hopes exploding.
Oh, yeah.
But the found family,
mm-hmm.
she makes a really good and very sweet and wise decision.
Yeah.
And that's to invite the people who helped her, who truly helped her get through this. The Asian family.
Yeah, who help her. They let her use their oven at the end.
At the end, because she had to cook it in several stages in different apartments.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Jack's apartment.
Sean Hayes is such a wackadoo in this one.
He's such an ass in this.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. Not everybody's going to be nice, and he was not invited.
He was not invited. Neither was the girl who said she could use her oven, but then turned around at the last minute and said, but I'm a vegan.
And I can't have you use my oven. Well, then don't say you
Why
can
did
use
you
it.
say she could use the oven? She invites the black couple and the Asian couple.
Well, the Asian family.
The Asian family, yeah. It wasn't a couple. It was, I think, their daughter.
Who spoke some English, yes.
And so the whole thing with Sean Hayes, he ends up getting like one of the turkey legs. There's a big stupid thing going on with the dog, and he's being weird about her checking the turkey. And so she ends up with the turkey, but it's missing a leg. So when she leaves it with the Asian family, she comes back and there's a
leg.
They made the leg out of dough.
Which is adorable.
It is
It's
adorable.
so sweet for them to think of that.
Yep.
And to help her in the way they didn't have to do.
And she's trying to explain to them what Thanksgiving is. And every time it just sounds more and more horrible. And because Thanksgiving is kind of horrible. And it's,
The reason. Yes,
not
sure.
Thanksgiving itself, but,
Or the results, the after effects of it. The things that happened after the quote unquote the pilgrims, the colonists.
We're gonna be a giant happy family and share a meal.
Yeah.
Except in another few years, I'm gonna take your land and fuck you over. Yeah, That kind of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the kind of like, disregarding treaties,
Yeah.
being generally horrible and genocidal.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Sure.
the same reason why we shouldn't celebrate Columbus Day, but
I think you make the holiday your own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Columbus Day isn't Columbus Day. It is Indigenous Peoples Day.
Before it became Indigenous Peoples Day, you know what I used to do? Just teach my students about other explorers.
Yeah.
Not just because they would talk about Columbus. I'd be like, yes, but what about Leif Erikson?
Magellan would never fuck a manatee.
No. I mean, I don't know enough about like what was this Americo Vespucci or any of that. I don't know many about the other explorers, but I love me some Leif Erikson, mostly because of that song that I always sing every once in a while. The one
I think I love you.
No, the Leif.
Why are you so afraid
Leif Erikson.
I know, I'm just making the joke, but because it's Leif Garrett.
I know.
Thing.
I think I love you.
So anyway. Yeah, so the Found family is there.
Yes.
And you get the sense that this is sad for April, but it's enough.
Yeah.
And so she's serving them food.
Because she says to him, what are we going to do with all this food?
Yeah.
And that's the best answer, really.
And it could be that Bobby gave her the idea.
Yeah,
but I think it's just great that they're all there.
Yeah.
In this little shitty apartment. They still have this really nice time.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're doing it, they hear a knock on the door. And see, the family had left, Joy and Jimmy.
Yeah, Jim. Yeah, it is Jim. Sorry.
And they had all left, and they went to a diner or a restaurant.
Yeah.
To eat instead of eating at April's because I guess they were disappointed or scared or whatever racist shit. Or
I think it was Jim. Jim said, he goes, I made a decision to leave, and he didn't even like consult with the rest of them. And he's like, I'm stand by that decision. So that it wasn't Joy's idea.
Well, he's trying to avoid Joy being upset.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
But in doing so, he's upsetting her, and he just doesn't see that he cannot fix this.
Nope.
This is not a sink to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And Joy grabs their son, which I thought he was Jimmy.
No, he's Timmy.
Timmy. I keep mixing those up.
I know.
She grabs Timmy, and they get, who also show up, by the way, to eat as well.
Yeah.
A couple of guys on motorcycles who take them to April's apartment, which is very sweet of them to do. Yeah. They were very gentle with Joy.
Oh, definitely. The guy's helping her get her helmet on.
Yeah, these are bikers.
Yeah.
And, they're being very kind. They get them there. They eat Thanksgiving dinner with them.
Yep. And Grandma sees her, driving off with the bikers.
Right.
And doesn't say a thing.
Well, and the rest of the family does end up going there.
Yeah.
They show up a little bit later. And the thing is, Jim is not upset. He's not upset that they came here. He actually is probably glad.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that throughout the movie, he has not given Joy any reason to be upset with him.
No.
He goes out of his way not to get her upset because he loves her and he wants her to be happy. But you cannot find happy in the place that she's in. So he's just trying not to make her upset.
Mm-hmm.
But she is always upset. She's the Incredible Hulk of upset. So there's no way around that. And he just doesn't understand that. And it's frustrating for Joy.
Oh, yeah. There is a bit of symbolism that I'm not sure is actually symbolism. But in the very beginning, when you first see Joy and she's sitting in the car waiting, and she's wearing her wig, and her wig is perfect, but you can tell it's a wig.
Yeah.
As the movie progresses and things keep happening, and her wig kind of wilts a bit, but by the time she's at April's apartment at the end for the dinner, and they are taking that last family picture, it doesn't look like a wig.
Right.
Because it's natural looking. It's sloppy, a little bit sloppy, but not like horrible sloppy. It's just not perfectly coiffed. And it looks like she's just there with her family and not, you wouldn't know there was a problem, that there was an issue. And not to say that that's important, but it just makes her look less of a statue that shouldn't be touched. and more
Right.
of a human being.
Right. And I think that is a great way to say that, because I think that in the end, that photo is the thing that everybody will cling to because April's in it.
Yes, because they take a picture early on with a bunch of Santa statues, and they're like, "There's your Christmas picture." And I forget who said, "Well, we didn't," but April's not in it.
Joan.
And then Beth was like, "Well, April's never in any of our Christmas pictures because she's just got that snarky, you know." Well, she's never here anyway. She just screws things up anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is so hard to talk about because both of us have seen this side of it. We know what it's like to be April in a way.
Yeah, and it's so weird because I do have this weird dichotomy about it because like April is a lot like my sister when we were, when I would say like in, our 20 somethings and early 30s for me. But the things that they say to April or feel about April, I take like her reactions to everything. I take that very strongly because that's how I felt and how I feel even now. I mean, I made a concerted effort to turn my back on shit because I couldn't deal with the toxicity anymore.
Yeah.
But you know how hard that is for me, even on the daily, thinking I should call. But then I have to I literally have to talk to myself as to why.
I would love for you to understand that you're not the first pancake. You're the second perfect pancake.
But that's from your angle.
No, I'm telling you, you're the second pancake. You have been told you're the first pancake. But I'm telling you, your mother, she was the first pancake. And she's taking it out on you.
Well, I mean, the thing that gets me is that I know if I were to reach back out and start dialogue, that somehow it's all my fault.
Sure, because the first pancake will never admit to being anything other than the second pancake.
Do you know, I mean, in this
Look at this
here's the
analogy
thing,
way
but this is
far.
like the shallowest shit ever. But it has, God, I honestly feel childish for saying this, but I'm going to say it because this is what I do here. Growing up, we went on one vacation that I can remember. We went to Washington, D.C. And I remember all I wanted to do was to go to an art museum, and we never went to an art museum. We went to every science museum, but we never went to an art museum. And all I wanted was to go to an art museum in Washington, D.C. I moved out of my house when I was 19, moved to California. And that summer, my parents took my sister to Busch Gardens. And they did the whole resort thing at Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
And it fucked with me. It fucked with me because we never went on family vacations except that one time when I was 16.
No,
And it was a weekend. They went away for like, I don't even know how long, but they went away. It was a resort. It was, the amusement park. And I never got any of that. And when I called them out on it, we just didn't, we didn't have the money when you were home, and you didn't care for these things. What?
They never asked.
They never asked. And the one fucking time I asked, I was told no because nobody wanted to go to a damn art museum.
Yeah. No,
So, I mean, and again, I know it sounds so shallow, but that's the shit. It's like they don't understand that it's those little tiny things that build up. It's not, I wouldn't say it's microaggressions because they're not micro, but they do build up.
Sure. That's the way it is for April.
Mm-hmm.
They, for her, it's just one thing after another of being ignored or being set aside. And she just wants to be noticed. She wants to be seen as a whole person and not just the idea of a daughter.
Well, when they're talking about how, when Joy was saying how she didn't have any good memories of April, I kind of had to wonder if my mother was asked that, if she can come up with any good memories.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a thing that'll sit with you.
Mm-hmm.
I do not personally have that issue.
Yeah.
I know that my mom would have good memories because she's told entire groups while I was there. I never felt because of my mother like I was the first pancake.
Yeah.
I felt I was the first pancake because my father and my brothers made me feel like the first pancake.
Yeah.
My mother always let me know. I never had any doubt that I was the second pancake for her.
Yeah. Like, I don't know necessarily about what my one sister thinks, but my youngest sister wouldn't think that, even though she is obviously the perfect pancake in the hierarchy. So I would, according, if I go by like my parents' point of view, this is how I see it through their point of view, even though it may not be how they feel. This is how they've made me feel. I'm the first pancake. My sister, who is 7 years younger than me, was a nice pancake, but fell on the floor a few too many times. And there might be some amphetamines. There's some meth in there, little cocaine sprinkled over top because we thought that was the powdered sugar.
That's not funny.
Okay, it's not funny, but it's true. And then there is...
No, I mean, I shouldn't be laughing at it. It's not funny.
I know, but then there's my baby sister who is the perfect pancake in the sense that they photograph it for pancake magazines,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the way.
She's Beth in the scenario, but almost so perfect that it becomes like a blind spot.
I mean, yes, but with less annoying, because Beth was annoying.
Sure.
And my baby sister, I don't find to be that annoying, but that's because we don't really talk that much.
I don't think so.
But there's also 20 years between us.
I think she's a wonderful person.
Oh, yeah.
I like her.
Mm-hmm.
I just think she has her own thing, and we have nothing in common.
Oh, no, there's 20 years between us. So it's like me and my son having, being best friends. It would be weird.
And literally, because they are
literally
the same age.
Yes,
yeah.
my son is 2 months older than my baby sister. So, yes.
He's 2 months older than his aunt.
His aunt, yeah. Yep.
Just weird for me.
I know, because he was born in August, she was born in October.
He's not his own grandpa, so that's okay.
And then people would say, are they twins? They don't even look alike.
Paternal twins?
They don't even look alike by any universe.
So, this movie, and we told you it was written and directed by Peter Hedges.
Mm-hmm.
He got paid $10 to write it and $10 to direct it. So $20 this man took.
Wow.
To do both. And he did it for a reason. They wanted to keep the costs at $100,000. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he took $20 to do both. Here's the reason why. It's because it was personal for him, because it was dedicated to his mother. And I get that. I completely understand. She died of cancer. This was autobiographical in a way that I don't even think I could fully understand.
No.
When Joy talks about that fictional singer, Smack Daddy.
Yes.
It's almost a word for word thing that Hedges' mother said to him in the hospital, except she was talking about Barry White.
Yes, I did see that when I was looking for my...
Which is why Jim mentioned
Barry White.
Yeah. Of singers that he knew. And I think that is just, when you come from that emotional standpoint, I think the film can't help but be emotional. It can't help but be good.
Oh, yeah.
Even if no one recognizes it, which I think they should.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even if you have the issues I have, watch it, because it's sometimes you need to have that mirror held up.
I think it's just one that always, the first time I saw it, it just kind of became the thing that always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
Is this movie doesn't directly appeal to me. It speaks to me.
Yeah.
It tells me the story of things that I feel. And even if I don't, identify with every part of the story, I can certainly feel for the person who is enduring that story, who is living that story. And I know there are people out there living that story almost exactly. My best friend Joe, before he died, he lived a lot of this. A lot of this could be applied to him in a lot of ways. He was the first pancake. He was troublesome for them. And he never quite lived up to any standard they set, even though they were loving parents. They just didn't have the emotional discourse for him that they had for his sisters.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't rooming with them at the time, but we were friends at the time. And so I completely understand that this story can really appeal to a lot of people in the saddest and the happiest of ways, because there's an underlying happiness in the story.
It's bittersweet because you do know that there's a good chance, because, Jim says it all throughout the movie, that this might be our last Thanksgiving with your mom. This might be, he alludes to it, so that there's a possibility for this to have a bittersweet ending when it comes to the future. But at that moment, it's got, the family is together.
Yeah, and Joy is not a prop. She's not a prop for the emotional sorrow that you feel in the film.
Yeah.
But neither is April.
Yeah.
These are two fully fleshed out human beings having emotions. And they feel the way they feel. And I don't think there can be an antagonist to this film.
No.
But I think that the feelings that they're having impede communication. So it's the choices they make during this journey for both of them that gets them to the point where maybe that can start to open up. And that's the sense you get at the end, is that maybe there's still time to open this dialogue that's going to allow them to maybe not repair everything, and not everything's going to get repaired because this is real life. And this movie is kind of replicating. That's the art that imitates real life. You don't always get a happy ending, but you can get some consensus. You can get some kind of closure for each other. And at least that part of your life isn't an open wound.
I think in their situation, they need to just accept that the past is the past and move forward.
And I think that's where it comes to. I think that's where it's coming to anyway at the end.
Can't change what happened in the past, but that's, again, not the same reasons why I am in the situation that I am in, because it has nothing to do with the past, even though the past is still hangs over my head.
Well, you haven't gotten any closure to it.
I never will, because, think about it, even with my own father, I've never had closure.
Yeah, so
God, no wonder I have abandonment issues.
These are the open wounds that stay with us. These are the things that it's always going to weep.
Do you know how many times I have composed letters in my head to my father that I never mailed? I've written a couple of them and never mailed them, but then I end up throwing them away. I know where he lives. I know he's still in the same home, same address and everything. I've tried, I've called in the past. I don't know the number anymore, so I couldn't do that now. But, it's tiring and exhausting. I no longer look for my siblings online where I used to.
Yeah.
Because the one time I reached out, I got cursed out by my one sister who knew nothing but acted like she knew everything and listened to the lies of an older sibling, which I've only met twice in my life, but she seemed to know so much about me and about the situation between me and my father. So again, lies upon lies upon lies, and decisions and choices were made.
So still issues.
Yes. So that's why I don't reach out to them anymore. I don't even try, because it's not worth it. So yeah, family sucks, and found family sometimes is the better family.
Yeah, it's because unlike your familial family, you have a choice.
My friend who passed away a few years ago, as messed up as she was a good mother figure, and I needed that at the time, and it's kind of I kind of wish that I had not lost her to cancer, because again, it would have been nice to show her and to be, because I know she would have been the cheerleader. She would have been like your mom. She would have been there
or
cheering us
Joe.
on. Yeah, or Joe. Yeah. So it's very, very.
I'm your
very
cheerleader.
frustrating. I know. You are.
But I'm always welcome to other people being your cheerleader because we're a team. We're a cheer team. It's not cheer follow, it's cheer lead.
I went this whole entire movie and I don't think I said the word so.
No, but I said a lot of things I just say over and over, like, you know.
Well, that's okay. So it's time once again.
Son of a bitch.
All right, guys, it is time for the stitch count. We're going to run this film through our Castellini test, the inclusivity and gaze lens, and our Trimmer's gold standard. We're going to scritch it out. We're going to let the cat scratch on it for a hot minute. We're going to hang it out on the line to dry and see if it falls apart in the rain.
You're going to hang it out in the rain?
I mean, I don't know. It's been raining like for days here, so.
Yeah, but you don't hang up a quilt in the rain. That's insane.
That's how we know if it's going to hold together.
That's insane. I do not approve of that, by the way.
I don't approve of
This
either.
is why we can't have nice quilts.
I'm laying. I got a nice quilt right here. This is one of your grandmother's.
Don't hang it up outside.
I won't do that.
It's her brownest quilt.
It is the brownest of brownest quilts.
She had a lot of. I remember when she made that. It's brown. It's got tan.
It's got orange in it, which is weird because I don't really care for orange, but this orange doesn't bother me.
Well, it's more of a tannish or like a brownish orange.
It's a pumpkin.
But this part right here, this was a. It's got a like a yellow background with some.
I'll take a picture of it.
Yeah, like almost balloonish colors in it.
Yeah, like spray paint, like somebody went.
Yeah, that's not quilting material.
No,
this was a curtain.
I was gonna say, this is curtain.
This was a curtain that hung up in the back. There was a back room that she used as a craft room.
Yes.
When my grandfather tore it down to build her a huge back room, add on to the house so that she'd have a huge craft room that she could actually lay the quilt out on the entire table.
Yeah.
This was the curtain that was hanging up in the old one.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of a progression.
Well, she has a lot of blue ones because I think we have multiple of the blue ones. I think our one son has the red one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah, my grandmother was.
We have a lot of quilts.
She was a hell of a woman, and she's a reason why quilts mean so much to me.
Yep, and it's part of our name, so yay!
Yeah, I kind of look at it as an ode to my grandmother. So let's talk about the Castellini test before I start crying.
Okay.
There have to be at least 2 named women characters with at least 5 lines of dialogue each.
Okay, we have April, we have Beth, we have Joy. We have, she does have a name, but the woman from the married couple, I just don't know her name because I did not write all of it down because we've been trying to be less.
Yeah, we don't want to overload everybody with a bunch of actors at the start, which can be a problem. Yvette, actually,
okay,
I can tell you her name. It's Lilias White is the actress who did a fantastic job. And Yvette's husband
Eugene.
is Isaiah Whitlock Jr.
For some reason, I remembered his name.
He was in The Wire, and I knew him from that because he was the senator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember where I'd seen her. And here's something that's going to kill you. She was in Hercules. She was the voice of one of the muses.
Oh, my Lord. And I love her because the muses are what make Hercules.
Yeah. She was also on The Cosby Show.
She was. Yeah, I did see
Recurring,
that. How did I miss the...
And so we went over it anyway, just because I wanted to put them on because saying the black couple seems
I know,
kind
it's
of...
kind of racist, but...
Well, it sounds derivative at the very least.
It really does, because they did have names, and they had a lot of lines, so... And she had a lot
well, I had to look it up. Yes. I didn't have it on there, but there we go.
So, yes.
So we have plenty of named women characters with 5 lines of dialogue each. Number 2, those characters must have a conversation, not necessarily with the other woman, either not about their partner or with their partner, and not about their relationship.
So nobody talks about relationships romantic-wise. They only talk about family relationships.
Yeah, and what this means is their romantic relationship. Yes. I should probably put that in, but that was not in the original Castellini.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's talking about their romantic relationship.
Yes.
So that passes. At least one of the women has to be integral to the plot, meaning that if she were written out of the film, it could not reach the same ending.
Well, yeah.
This one actually relies on two.
Yep, April and Joy.
Without April, without Joy, you could not have the ending of this movie.
No.
It's just not possible. Because it's about their, not reconciliation, it's about acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
It's about just being two complete people, being acknowledged for being those complete people. And I think that's pretty awesome.
Okay, so it gets a point for stitch count.
Yeah. Inclusivity and gaze, this is a on-off situation, so we have a max of 4 points. So racial diversity with agency, not just background.
Well, yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, so the Asian family is kind of background, but also not, because at first they were a background because she's talking to them, and that's when she meets Sean Hayes' character. But then later on, and then they're at the Thanksgiving party. So
yeah, they're integral to the story in that way.
So it'll get a point for that.
LGBTQ presence that isn't a punchline or tragedy.
I mean, we can assume that Sean Hayes' character is gay, and he's not a punchline because he doesn't do like the overtly.
And he's not a tragedy; he's just a dick.
He's just a dick. Yeah.
So it's there.
Yeah.
It's not a great presence, but he's not being criticized for being gay.
No, but
so
yeah. So I mean, yeah.
Just being a dick.
Yep, and he's a dick.
Age, body type, or disability treated with dignity.
Okay, so we can assume, well, nobody says anything about anybody's body type, or even age. No one.
The one thing that I think is going to clinch this for you, when the biker gently puts the helmet onto Joy's head.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Being mindful of her wig.
Well, I was going to say, I consider people who have cancer having a disability. I know some people don't, but I also feel like glasses, if you need to wear glasses, because without them, you are technically unable to do things if you cannot see.
But there's a lot of versions of disability, yes.
Yes, so I feel like it is, again, I know we use this for a lot of things, but it is a spectrum. And so I consider that definitely dignity towards somebody with a disability.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in this was, for their age, their body type, or their disability, was treated anything but with dignity.
Mm-hmm.
This film was about having that kind of dignity in what you're facing, and not just Joy, but April as well.
Yes.
Camera gaze, not relentlessly sexualized or punitive.
So in the very beginning of the movie, the scene that I mentioned that is improvised, Katie Holmes is in her underwear. She just woke up. She was in, tank top and underwear. It is not sexualized.
Not in any way.
They are wrestling, and he's fighting to get her off the bed.
It's a very
adorable.
Sweet moment. It's a very sweet moment that shows that Bobby cares about her.
Oh, yeah, and it's two people who are very comfortable with one another as well.
Even when they're having sex.
Mm-hmm.
When they're having sex and she's reciting the things, the ingredients.
Yeah. I actually forgot about that.
It is, you only see the upper half of them from a doorway, from a door jamb.
And you see just like.
So it is not at all punitive. It is not at all sexualized. This is just a moment between two people kind of having fun and having a release at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I think it's, again, a very sweet moment that just further endears you to Bobby and April's relationship. They're poor, they're young, but that's how everybody starts out, right?
Oh, yeah. And they're not, and again, like you said, with the sex scene, it's not done to be titillating. It just happens to be a fact.
It's a fact of their life. I want to say too, with Joy, and I know this isn't the camera gaze, but I want to bring this up. when she's talking about the thing that we talked about, Peter Hedges' mother had said verbatim.
Oh, yeah.
Except it was Barry White. She's talking about a sexual fantasy.
Yes.
In front of her children. But this is not sexualized because for her, what this is doing is just showing that she is a whole person. She is not the idea of a mother. She is a whole entity. She has
thoughts. She has
consciousness
that's beyond just motherly duty.
Jim isn't angry about this.
No.
Jim doesn't care because Jim knows what this is. She is a complete person.
And they've probably had this conversation before.
But she's not an idea of his wife. She's she's a person that he is in love with.
Exactly.
And I love that he didn't make a reaction to it because you expect that to be a thing.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, she is, they are the whitest white family that ever whited. And yet here she is talking about this fictitious singer.
Smack Daddy. I would assume it's a rapper, maybe.
But yeah, I'm not really sure. You can't really hear the music, but you kind of hear the music, and you hear her like singing along with the music in her headphones.
Sure.
But then, like you said, he mentions Barry White, and he's like, I know black singers, and he's like, Barry White, and he mentions a few other.
Because Timmy's messing with him.
Yeah. And so, he's not sussed by it, and she's obviously, had these thoughts.
Well, I didn't even think about the racial component. I just meant like his wife having a sexual fantasy.
Yeah.
This wasn't to him an issue.
But that's something that like you can think her ex-boyfriend, who is the drug addict, is a white guy. She's currently dating a black guy. And I know for a fact from my own lovely little racist family that I was told from a very young age, if you ever bring a black man into this house, you were gone. And it wasn't just my mom who said this. I had uncles who said this to me, who'd had no right to say shit about who I dated.
Yeah.
So going into this movie as a white person and seeing her in a biracial relationship, you have to wonder, is this going to be a problem? Or is this going to be something that they're going to have take issue with? Because they don't know. They just know his name is Bobby.
Yeah.
I mean, even our youngest has dated black guys, and we don't care. It's as long as they treat her good. We've only cared about the assholes.
All I care about is, are they good to you?
Yeah.
Are they not an asshole to you?
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
And unfortunately, 2 out of them have been assholes, and it's not because of who, their skin color. It's just because they were pieces of shit who treated my baby bad.
She's going to kiss a lot of frogs before she finds a prince.
Oh, yeah. And so I just know that when we would bring, if she mentioned it in front of my family, I would cringe internally, not because of my child, but because I don't want them to say shit to her.
Yeah, I don't want them to be racist at her.
Yeah, I don't want them to ruin what she finds joy in.
Sure.
But, okay, sorry.
No, let's talk about the Tremors Index.
Okay.
So we have 0 through 4. 0 being below Tremors, fails the basics, and 4 exceeds Tremors, rare, powerful, and intentional. Where do you see this landing on the Tremors Index?
Give me a second.
I know where I am.
So I want to say 2. However, no one is diminished to make someone look cool. Not to their faces, but in the car ride at times when they do say shit about April. Those are jabs to make, not necessarily to make them feel better or look better, but also it's just she's the low-lying fruit in that moment in their minds. Or low-hanging fruit, however you say that.
Sure. I don't think that is diminishing her. I think that is the way because to diminish them would be to do it in front of them.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's what I was saying. They don't say it in front of her, so I don't know if that counts.
I don't think it does. I think that sometimes, you're voicing fears.
Mm-hmm.
You're voicing the fear that this is going to be horrible. You're voicing the fear, like she does voice, that this will create a bad memory and that's all she will have.
Yes. But also, as I'm looking at number 3.
I know. So number 3 is Tremors level. That's the gold standard. This is it's like Tremors.
Mm-hmm.
Competence is distributed across gender, age, class, and personality.
And
which I think it does.
It does.
Women make critical decisions without comment or apology.
That's true.
Which it
April
does.
makes tons of decisions that
And so does Joy.
Yeah, and you know April's not comfortable with them because she's probably used to having somebody helping her. And now Bobby's not there, so she's got to do it on her own.
The narrative assumes equality and moves on.
Yep.
No one is seen as lesser for being a different gender.
No, there is a moment, like I said, when I forgot her name already. When the black woman answers the door and she does come out, Yvette. When Yvette comes to the door and does come kind of at her with racist tones, as somebody who has been treated poorly by white people, but then changes her story. Like she's defensive.
That's not making a decision with comment or or apology. That is just being on defensive. That's all
true.
that is.
Okay, I just didn't want to ignore. It's not, you could see in April's face that she's hurt in that moment because that's not who she is. But also, as a white person who has been on that side, I give that person, I can't say shit, because I've not been on the person's side who has been oppressed.
Sure.
And so I don't, I just take it because honestly, it's not my place.
The narrative assumes equality and moves on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one's being told they're not equal.
No, because even the people who treat her like shit, she just doesn't deal with them again.
Survival requires cooperation, not dominance.
And that is true. This movie is all about cooperation, especially in the big, with her trying to make that dinner. It took literally the whole building to make that dinner.
Well, yeah, no one's dominating anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is Tremors level. I think it's a 3.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay. So what are we looking at for the stitch count?
8 out of 9.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a little indie film.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. 8
it's
out
an
of 9.
hour and 20 minutes long, and we've talked about it for an hour and 40 minutes.
That's about right. For
Unedited,
us.
But yes.
That's about right.
I love this film, and I hate this film.
No, it's.
I love this film for what it is and what it says. I hate for how it makes me feel like I didn't do enough for my mother.
Yeah.
Like I didn't.
Well, you had a good relationship.
I know, but you want to you should have spent I should have spent more time.
I know.
But wow, this movie is powerful to me. It always has been.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch it often. In fact, I only watched it that one time, but it stuck with me.
Yeah. And
that's why I put it on the list. And I tell you, it hits me right in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a hard thing to watch.
Oh no, definitely. Again,
It's a hard thing to watch emotionally. It's not a hard thing to watch because it is a beautiful, even though it's done with digital camcorders, it is a beautifully shot film.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're there. You feel like you've been to these places.
Yeah.
Like you know them because it's textural. It's something you can feel under your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely feel it emotionally. So you're invested in the place and the people.
Yeah.
And the actors do a wonderful job of making you feel like they lived here. They live in this. This is part of who they are, not just part of a set, not part of a dressing. Thank you for joining us for Pieces of April 2003. This is Cozy Quilt Cinema with Beth and Michelle. And I'm going to tell you how we loved having you in our blanket fort. And I really hope that you listen to this with open eyes and open heart and bundled up because it's not so much cozy, it is homey. You feel like you're home and not everything is perfect. Sometimes you're going to cry. Through broken ovens and borrowed kitchens, through long drives toward people we're not sure we're ready to forgive. These are the stories that you find yourself traveling through in this movie. No matter where in the world you're listening from, with the right film selection and a little reflection of your own life and these characters, you might just find yourself walking away from this one feeling a little worn out, a little tender, and quietly wondering if the heart you've been carrying around still has a little more room in it than you thought. You can find us at cozyquiltcinema.com, or you can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Cozy Quilt Cinema, or send your personal reflections and feedback to cozyquiltcinema@gmail.com. You can always find our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. And please subscribe, leave a rating, and help this podcast grow.
And don't forget to check out our other podcast, Between Myth and Belief. So here are your clues for next week. This movie was shot in 17 days on a small budget in Dublin and has since become a Broadway musical, and it has actually won many awards. Not just Broadway, off-Broadway, West End, you name it. Been multiple shows of this. Both Steven Spielberg and Bob Dylan were huge fans of this movie. And the two leads in this movie were 18 years apart during the filming, and obviously still are. And the female lead needed to get permission from her school to leave for filming. Yeah.
Problematic.
It is problematic. I'm looking forward to it because, again, it is one of my favorites. Even though,
I've never seen it.
Oh, yeah, it's sweet, but it's definitely
okay.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yes, so that's pretty much all I've got.
I don't know that.
No.
I don't know that I can give you a funny ending at the end with some kind of pithy saying.
No.
Maybe this time, instead of doing that, take a moment and, if your mother is still around, or your father, maybe try to connect with them, or look at the reasons why you cannot.
Okay. I won't be doing that.
You looked at the reasons why you cannot.
Yes, well, I know why I cannot. So until next time, friends, bye.
Bravo! Bravo! Encore!
Any requests?
That you stop. I'm sorry. I'm terrible.
Who are you?
Don't start with that. You know who I am.
I know who you say you are, but my daughter is kind and sweet and soft-spoken.
Not anymore.
And I don't know you.